Your pet's food may be complete and balanced, premium, and cost you a fortune, but that doesn't automatically mean that it's safe. In fact, there are a few sneaky things that could be quietly harming their health, even if you feel like you're doing everything right. This is information I wish I had known sooner, so I want to share with you 3 things that might be sabotaging your pet's wellness without you even realizing it. But before we get started, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Wolf, integrative veterinarian and food therapist for pets. So if you want more pet nutrition and wellness videos from me, be sure to hit the subscribe button. The first hidden health hazard are mycotoxins. These are naturally occurring toxins produced by certain types of molds, especially in grains like wheat, corn, rice, oats, and barley, which are common ingredients in many commercial pet foods. The scary part is that mycotoxins are not something that you can see or smell, but they can have serious impacts on your pet's health. At high levels, they can cause acute poisoning with symptoms like vomiting, tremors, and even liver damage. While this isn't super common with commercial pet foods, we do need to be aware of the potential risk of chronic low-grade exposure. Ingesting small amounts of mycotoxins won't produce symptoms right away, but over time it can weaken the immune system, increase inflammation, and even increase the risk of certain types of cancers. And the problem is that many pet food companies don't test for the presence of mycotoxins on a regular basis. So no matter what brand you're feeding, whether it's a premium or holistic food, the highest priced one on the shelf, or even something your vet recommended, I suggest reaching out directly to the pet food company and asking them if they test for mycotoxins. And if they do, can they provide you with either a certificate of analysis or some proof of whether or not there are mycotoxins in the food, but also at what level. If the company can't give you a straightforward and transparent answer, that's a huge red flag, and I would suggest moving on to a different brand. The second hidden health hazard is storing your pet's kibble or homemade food in plastic. There's a lot of talk right now about the effects of plastic on human health, and the same types of principles likely are going to apply to our pets. While plastic Tupperware and food storage containers may seem safe, they're not totally inert, and they can leach chemicals and microplastics into your pet's food, especially if it's oily, fatty, or subjected to high temperatures. So if you're buying a large bag of kibble and you're dumping it into a plastic container and it's sitting there for weeks or months, chances are your pet is going to be ingesting those chemicals and microplastics over time. And the same goes for homemade food. I see a lot of videos on social media of people prepping their dog's food and then putting it right into a plastic bag or plastic container while it's still hot. Heat will speed up the breakdown of that plastic, so always cool your pet's food before putting it into a container, and ideally use glass if you can. And keep kibble in its original bag, but placing it into an airtight storage container. And the third hidden health hazard is not giving your pet enough omega-3s. There's a lot of talk about seed oils and inflammation, but the real problem is the balance of omega-6s to omega-3s. Seed oils provide a lot of omega-6s, which ingested in high amounts can cause increased inflammation. But if we balance that with the right amount of omega-3s, we bring down that ratio to a more anti-inflammatory level. The problem is that most commercial pet foods, even fresh food brands that seem healthy, often have really high levels of omega-6s and not a lot of omega-3s. And feeding a diet like that to your pet long-term can drive chronic inflammation and potentially increase their risk of developing a chronic disease. So I would suggest asking your veterinarian about getting your pet started on a high-quality fish oil supplement. They are not all created equal, and there is a safe upper limit for dosing. So this is not something you want to just go do willy-nilly and pick a random product on the shelf and just start dumping it into your pet's bowl. That could also have negative health consequences like reduced wound healing and delayed blood clotting. So definitely run this by your veterinarian and ask them about the proper dosing. And also ideally opt for products with shorter-lived fish like anchovies and sardines. These types of fish can be lower in toxins and higher in the beneficial omega-3s, EPA, and DHA. I know it's super easy to get caught up with what brand is best, what brand should I choose for my pet, but honestly, it's these hidden factors that are going to be way more important than the brand name. The food can have really amazing packaging and look super healthy while still having mycotoxins inside and a high omega-6 to 3 ratio. And those things are going to have a negative impact on your pet's health over time. Small changes like taking a few minutes to reach out to the pet food company to ask about these things and swapping out your pet's food containers can make a big difference even if you're not physically seeing it. So if you found this, eye-opening and interesting, and you want to know more about how to evaluate your pet's food for safety, quality, and appropriateness for your pet, I have a free 12-page diet audit tool I've linked in the description that will help you assess your pet's food in just minutes. So go check that out and let me know in the comments which one of these hidden health hazards did you find the most surprising. See you next time.